right, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. Now, the Flip 4 just came out. I'm going to be talking mostly about the one I picked up, the Flip 3. It's a 5G phone, and these are my first impressions after using it for about a month. I'll be back. Who said that famous movie catchphrase? I'll be back. Well, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1984 science fiction film, The Terminator. Now, believe it or not, he used this phrase or a similar one in 6 more films. Now, flip phones were very popular at the turn of the century, although they did not go by that name at that time. Instead, they were known as clamshell phones. They stood out as the first to feature built-in cameras. Did you own a clamshell phone? Look at some of these pictures. I had one there. Remember the antennas that would pull out so you can get a better signal? Now, some of the more popular brands included Motorola with the iconic Razr, Samsung, LG, Sanyo, Nokia, and Ericsson. Some of these brands are no longer in the cell phone business. I doubt any of these still work on the 4G, LTE, and 5G systems in use today. Going, gone. The clamshell-style cell phone started to disappear in the mid-2000s from the market as the public wanted more screen real estate on their mobile device, which today we call a candy bar style. The popularity of Apple's iPhone, which debuted in 2007, was a major contributing factor. So why I wanted a flip phone and why I didn't get one until now. The main reason I wanted a flip phone was simply for the comfort of carrying it in my pants or even shirt pocket. For a guy who wears jeans most of the time, I never found a full-size cell phone in the pockets of my clothes comfortable. The main reason I did not purchase one was the price. I once paid over $500 for a Windows flagship phone from HP, which 3 years later became a doorstop when Microsoft and my carrier stopped support. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3, when it was released a year ago, August 2021, was a $1,000 phone. Now they've announced the release of the Galaxy Z Flip 4. Galaxy globally went on sale August 26. The Flip 4 starts at $1,000 for the base 128 gigabyte version and more for the 2 larger storage options. Now, there's not a lot of differences between the Flip 3 and the Flip 4. The main ones are the Flip 4 now has the 1 generation newer Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor. It has an additional storage option of up to 512 gigabytes, and it's a slightly larger battery from 3,300 to 3,700 milliamp hours. Slightly updated camera for sharper photos, and a larger cover screen that is more customizable. The result is a dramatic price decrease for a brand new Flip 3. I was able to purchase one from Best Buy in early August for my Verizon account for $300. So what did I get with a year-old Flip 3 phone? Well, it's a 5G phone, so it's ready for the future. The battery is 3,300 milliamp hours. That's low capacity, but it is fast wireless charging. Storage, 128 gigabytes, while 256 is available. The processor was the Snapdragon 888. That was considered the fastest Android of 2021. RAM, 8 gigabytes. The resolution is full high definition, 2600 by 1080 pixels. The display is a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED screen. Now remember, it's half the physical size when flipped close. Water resistant up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. There's a specific IPX rating for that. The platform is Android 11, upgradable to Android 12. The camera is a main wide and then a second ultra wide, 12 megapixel, and the selfie camera is 10 megapixel. Video records at 1080p and also at 4K when using 30 frames per second with an electronic stabilization. The refresh rate is 120 hertz. Now that can be temporarily downgraded to 60 if you're looking for longer battery life. Stereo speakers, side-mounted fingerprint reader. Quite a lot of features on this phone. Now, what are the positives for me? Well, when closed, the phone easily fits into my pants or shirt pocket, yet when opened, the device has a 6.7-inch screen. Samsung says the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is rated for up to 200,000 folds. That's equivalent to 5 years of use if you fold and unfold the device 100 times a day. Now it has 8 gig of RAM, and AndroidAuthority.com says 8 gigabytes will provide a good multitasking experience plus some future proofing. For me, my old phone only had 4 gig of RAM, so this is a big improvement. And of course, the 5G speed. So I did a test with Verizon on their 4G LTE at home, and it was a paltry 21 megabytes up and 3.7 megabytes down. But when in Phoenix last week, I used the Verizon 5G that was available, and my speeds were more than double. Now, there have been some negatives mentioned by reviewers. The small capacity battery that may not last a full day of normal usage. I'm going to cover some of the solutions for that next. And then the lack of a micro SD card slot for additional storage. Yes, Samsung says performance is better when data is kept on the internal memory. I think the motive could be to encourage some to spend more money on a larger onboard storage option. And the lack of a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, please, that's no longer relevant as most use Bluetooth headphones. And for those still using wired headphones, adapters are available that plug into the USB-C connector. All right, here's my solution to the battery not being as large as some other phones. Most of the day, I'm working at my computer when I'm at home. Well, newer desktops and laptops have a USB-C port, the same as modern cell phones. This USB-C port allows for what's called fast charging. What does that mean? It means it can deliver and receive a charge at 15 watts as compared to the micro USB port on older phones, which is rated at only 10 watts. Many smartphone manufacturers say 60% charge in under 20 minutes. I took my phone from 0 to 100% in about 40 minutes. So, okay, let's say I'm not at home, but I'm driving around in my car. Well, that's when you charge your flip phone in the car, connecting the phone to a USB adapter plugged into a power outlet. Or you could use the USB connector that it comes with cars as well. Okay, now what do you do when you're not at home or in your car? And there will be situations when you are in those situations, such as hiking or just plain walking and taking pictures in a new city. These situations, when your phone needs a charge, have with you a fully charged portable battery power pack. One manufacturer claims its power station can fully recharge a smartphone twice to full power. Okay, now let's look specifically at the phone. When it's folded at a right angle, they call that flex mode. And as you can see from this picture, now the one screen becomes 2. So, and there's many examples of how you can use the 2 screens. And one example would be reading emails while watching a video. This is similar to having 2 desktop monitors, but obviously on a much smaller scale. So the flex mode for taking videos and photos. So you put it in that right angle mode, open it up halfway, and you set it on a flat surface, and you can then capture pictures and videos from various angles, hand-free, without the need for a tripod. A neat feature when traveling alone, as you can take selfies that look like someone else took your picture. Okay, Ray takes a video selfie. Here's my first selfie video taken with the Samsung flip phone. My wife wanted to know why I wasn't smiling. I did not have a good answer. So here is a video of myself that I'm taking as a selfie. The phone is in its right angle position, and I have some controls on the bottom half, and I can see my image on the upper half. Could not be easier. Don't need a tripod or anything else to do this. Just easily done with the phone. Now, my favorite feature is the flex mode for selfie picture taking. So again, you put the phone in the flex mode position, and all you have to do is say the word cheese, and the camera will automatically count off 3 seconds and take your selfie picture. And you can also raise your hand to start the 3-second countdown for your picture to be taken. Cheese. How easy was that? Now, I do recommend using a case. The phone can be slippery, so again, recommend buying a case. In my case, my choice was a bright red color. So when I put it down on a dark surface, I can still find it. I can't tell you how many times I've lost my phone or misplaced my phone in the past. Now, I like the ones that have a magnet on the case because that allows me to, for an easy attachment to another magnet connected to a front dash car grill. And you can see there's a little U-hook there, and that operates as a stand to when I can watch videos without the need to hold the phone. There's a cover screen. The cover screen provides current notifications and battery percentage along with date and time in the closed position. Samsung Pay works by simply swiping the phone without the need to open it. Widgets can be set for music, weather, and other features to be controlled without opening the device. So a recap of my responses to the negative comments. People have talked about the fold crease. Yes, it can be felt and seen at certain angles. I quickly became used to it, and most reviewers say this is not an issue. The slippery feel, true. So get a case. Small battery, yes, the 3300 battery is relatively small by today's premium phone standards. But for me, it certainly lasts a full day since I'm usually at home or in the car where I can recharge when needed. Yes, no SD card slot. I've always liked that in my phones, but I've just learned to reduce the number of songs saved on my phone. And now actually I use my old phone that had a 200 gigabyte micro SD card as my MP3 player. And there's no optic telephoto camera lens, although it does have digital. As most of the photos I take are of people, not having this type of lens has not been an issue for me so far. So final commentary, Samsung also offers the Galaxy Fold 4, which is a full-size phone that opens double wide to form a mini tablet that runs $1,780.49 at Amazon. The Motorola Razr flip phone is Samsung's main competitor now, but no doubt other manufacturers will soon be entering this niche. My prediction is the flip phone will become as popular as the clamshells from 25 years ago, because with electronics in general, each year, as we all know, the products get better and over time cost less. There is so much more for me to learn about my new phone, but for now, I don't see myself ever going back to a full-size smartphone that I can't flip. Thank you very much for your time.
Two new power toys, text extractor and screen ruler. I'm Hewie Poplock. Two new additions to power toys are screen ruler, which is a quick and easy way to measure pixels on your screen, and text extractor, which is a convenient way to copy text from anywhere on the screen. Microsoft Power Tools is a set of utilities for power users to tune and streamline their Windows experience for greater productivity. Made by Microsoft and the Power Toys community. The Microsoft Power Toys were originally developed by Microsoft Research and released in 1998 as a way to demonstrate the power of Windows. Here is a list of the Power Toys. Some examples of these tools are Color Picker, which is a system-wide color selection tool for Windows that enables you to pick colors from any currently running application and automatically copies it in a configurable format to your clipboard, and Image Resizer, which is a Windows shell extension for simple bulk image resizing. Here are the two new additions to Power Toys, Screen Ruler, and Text Extractor. Let's do the demo. Let's take a look at Screen Ruler. Now, you might ask, why do you need a screen ruler? One is you might want to know what size a certain picture is, a space on a document. There are a number of reasons you might want to know how many pixels up and down, or how long something is, how much space is between one line and another. So there's a lot of reasons you might want to have a ruler. And let's take a look at a couple uses of the ruler. You'll see at the top, I've already clicked on the Windows Shift M keys combination, and that combination opens up the menu for your screen ruler. This is the menu up here at the top. Now, I had a little bit of a problem when I was going to make this video, that sometimes it came up and sometimes it didn't. I had to reboot a few times. I don't know whether it's a bug in the program or if I have some kind of a conflict. Either way, I've got it working. We'll take a look at it. So we have a picture here. We can do several things with this ruler. We can just check on the bounds of something, the spacing, horizontal spacing, vertical spacing, and the X shuts it off. Let's take a look. Let's do the boundaries first. This is an on-off switch, so once you turn it on, it stays on until you click it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the corner of this picture on this website, and I'm going to click and drag it down to the bottom part. It tells me it's 715 by 400. When I let go of it, that goes away, but I don't know if you heard the pop or not. That's a signal on my system that I copied something. So it puts it in the clipboard. So if I come over here, I've got Notepad open so we can look to see what I capture. Turn that off and then come over here and we're going to paste, and it's saying it's 715 by 400. So it measured that and then saved the measurement in the clipboard. You can measure anything you want. If you're doing the border, you could say, oh, I wonder how big this little box is. And let's see. And we've got to shut that off. Then we come down here. Let's go to the next line and do a paste. And it's 291 by 125. So you can measure the size of something. All right, let's take a look at a Word document. When recording this, I noticed that when I go to the other spacing, horizontal spacing, and vertical spacing, I see a red line when I do that. So let's just look here. And I see a red line on here, but I think when I click that, you will not see that. And so I am going to skip this area, but you see what those three things will do. Now, what else could you do? Well, let's say you want to put a picture in your Word document and you want to have it on the side of, let's say, these three paragraphs. So you could say, okay, let's do the spacing here. And let's say we want it from here, and we want the picture to be about that much wide for the next to those three paragraphs. When we let go of it, then we can look over here, which you got to shut that off, come down here. And so we're going to look to put a picture in that is going to be 331 by 235. So somewhere around 330 across and 235 above. We want to keep it in the right proportion, so it depends on what our picture is. But we know that we want to keep it about 235 up and down. And then if it's a little bit more than 333, it'll just bring it over to the side of the page. So you can use this to measure anything you want, and that's how to measure things on your screen. For whatever reason you want to have them measured, you can. Now, another thing you might want to do is measure a particular window. If you're doing screen captures and you're going to leave it and come back, you want to know how big that window is. You might want to get the measurements of that window, and then you'll have the same size window when you start up the next time to continue the screen captures that you were doing for that particular presentation that you were going to be doing. Of the two new power toys, the one I'm excited about is Text Extractor, and it's one you'll probably find much more uses than the other. So let's take a look at a Facebook page. And sometimes you go to a Facebook page and you see it's a picture of something that's got words on it. In order to bring up the Text Extractor, you do Windows Shift and T for text. It grays the screen, and then you outline what you want the text to show. You heard the pop. That means it went into the clipboard, I come over here and I'm just going to paste, and now I have that text as text that I can do anything I want. I can edit it, make a paragraph out of it, whatever I want to do with it. So there's lots of uses for this. Let's look at another use. All of your files that are in a particular folder. If I do the Windows Shift T for text again, and I want to grab just the file names of what's there. Now I come over here, let's clear this, and I'm going to now right mouse click and paste, and there are all of the file names listed there that are editable. I can move them around, I can put them in something, alphabetize them, whatever I want to do, which I think is a really good use of it. Another might be, let's take one of these articles that's here, and let's take this as a JPEG, and here's an article that was from an old newspaper. It's not real clear because it was taken from an old newspaper from many years ago, but let's go ahead. Windows Shift T, it grays it out. We're going to say, okay, we want to grab all of this information right here. We come over to our notepad. It could be Word or whatever you want to, whatever program you want to put it in. And then you just tell it, paste it. And there's that whole article. And it does a pretty good job of turning it into text. You might have to go back in and edit a few things, but for the most part, it does capture it, considering that's not a really good thing to copy. That same article was a PDF, so let's close that and open up a PDF of the same article, and you can see it here. And so now when we do the Windows key Shift and T, it grays it down a little bit, and we're going to take this information and grab it and then close this, come over here, erase everything that's on there, and then we'll paste again. And again, it's the same article, and it actually did a better job from the PDF than it did from the JPEG, but it does either. So you can see you can grab anything that's on the page and make text out of it. Something else I noticed that I could do is, let's say you want a list of all of your icons that are on your desktop. Again, Windows key Shift and T, and remember that T is for text. It's an easy way to remember it. So let's just grab these. I heard the pop. That means it went into my clipboard. I'm going to delete this, and now I'm going to do a right mouse click and paste, and there are all of the items that are on the screen. And so I then have a list of all of the icons that I have on my desktop. So that's Text Extractor. Microsoft Power Toys, Text Extractor, and Screen Ruler. I'm Hewie Poplock.
Don't throw it away. Repurpose your old gadgets. Tech is constantly being outdated, and because of that, you might have a small gadget graveyard built up in your home. You spend a decent amount of money on all that stuff. It shouldn't go to waste. So before you get rid of it, let's go over some cool things you can do with those old dated pieces of tech. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and get involved. Computers, especially your laptops, there's still life left in it. Turn it into a Chromebook. There is a way to squeeze some life and performance out of your old laptop or desktop before it finally dies out. Install Chromium OS on it. Chromium OS is the open source version of Chromium operating system, and it's a less intensive operating system than something like Windows. While Chromium OS can't do everything more complicated operating systems can, for most people, it's a more than fine replacement. Why not use that old laptop as a second monitor? If you've got a Windows PC and a Windows laptop, you can wirelessly connect them so that the laptop can serve as a monitor to the PC. Having two monitors is always nice, and this is a simple way to add on to your current setup without dropping more money on a new monitor. Be aware this is a wireless connection, so there can be some delay. How about turning it into a Plex server? Plex is a great service for watching your digital copies of movies and shows anywhere. The thing is, you need a central server for your library to live on. Fortunately, the software for creating such a server is available for Mac and Windows. So the process of turning your old computer into a Plex server is fairly simple. Have a laptop with a broken screen? Turn it into a desktop. A laptop with a broken screen can feel useless. However, there's a simple way you can get more use out of it. Just use it as a desktop. Buy an external monitor or salvage an old one and you're good to go. You might need to purchase a USB hub with an HDMI port for this to work though. Turn that old desktop case into a useful box. Your dusty old PC may barely boot nowadays, but if you tear out all of the internal hardware, then the actual case can be surprisingly useful. At the end of the day, most PC cases are just big boxes, and there's a lot you can do with an empty box, from a geeky mailbox to a unique shelving unit. Also a great place to grow some vegetables or herbs. Don't throw out that old phone. That camera is still good. Old phones may no longer be fun to use, but there are some things you can do with their cameras, even if the cameras aren't good. Use it as a dash cam. A dash cam is an invaluable thing for drivers to have installed. But the price barrier and setup process can make it a difficult sell. But with a simple phone dock and a car charger, you can easily turn your old phone into a functional dash cam. Just be prepared to delete the old files off your phone regularly to free up space. You can also use it as a webcam. Webcams are a rare commodity nowadays, but it's simple to turn your phone into a wireless webcam. The app ℚ𝕠𝕠𝕠 is great for this and is available on iOS, Android, and Ubuntu. It's available for free at the link listed. You'll probably also want a tripod for your phone for a simpler setup. Those old tablets, turn them into appliances. Your old tablets may take a long time to boot up, but that doesn't matter as much if it's only serving one purpose. How about a dedicated weather station for both Android and iOS? While a tablet may slow down over the years, you don't exactly need a lot of power to check the weather. You can set your tablet up with a kickstand and a charger and always keep your weather app of choice open. With the added benefit of virtual assistants, this is a great way to keep up with the weather. You can also turn that old tablet into a dedicated calendar, both iOS and Android, and a to-do station. Forget wall calendars and notebooks. You can easily turn your tablet into a dedicated scheduling productivity station in a similar manner to the weather station. Just install your calendar and to-do apps of choice and set up your tablet with a kickstand and charger. How about a recipe machine? Another simple option by keeping a tablet in the kitchen just for recipes is useful. It's also nice to have something more disposable taking this place than the phone or tablet you use every single day. You can also turn your tablet into a smart home hub. If you're heavily invested in the world of smart homes, you're going to need a place to manage all of your smart devices. And old tablets are great for this, as devices like the Amazon Echo and Google Home have companion apps for tablets. Apple also fully supports the iPad to act as a home hub. Homebrew your game console. While game consoles may appear as restricted pieces of tech at first glance, there are some bonus ways to make use of them nowadays, besides playing their respective libraries of games. Homebrewing. This refers to flashing ROMs of various games digitally to a console's memory. The process is widely different for every console, and as such, the difficulty level is also varied. The Wii, and by extension Wii U, is one of the simplest consoles to homebrew. So if you've got one of those laying around the house, start here. Besides that, your mileage will vary depending on the system you have available to you. Research will be key here. You can also use that console as a media setter. Your old Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 may be more useful than you think. Both of these systems can read DVDs. The PS3 can even read Blu-rays, but they also have access to apps like Netflix and Hulu. The online stores for both of these are still up, so it's as simple as downloading the app and signing in. Despite their age, these systems are still fully viable media centers today. Here are the projects that don't fit into any of the categories above. That doesn't mean you should discount them, though. They're still cool. Don't throw out that old digital camera. Cameras can be used as webcams. Many digital cameras can serve as webcams with a simple cord. But for high-end DSLR cameras, the process can be more complicated. Fortunately, Sony, Panasonic, and Canon have all released software that makes it relatively simple to set up your fancy camera as a high-end webcam. How about adding Bluetooth to your old iPod dock? Did you buy a dock for your old iPod so that you could listen to tunes loud and clear? Chances are it's not getting much use nowadays, but it can still prove useful. Through an adapter from Xiaocom, you can add Bluetooth functionality to your old iPod dock and use it the same way you would use any standard Bluetooth speaker. Here's something cool. You can turn an old monitor into a smart mirror. Why limit your mirror to only show yourself when you look at it? With a smart mirror, you could see the time, weather, and news, all while getting ready for work. This is a do-it-yourself project you'll have to spend some time on, and depending on how fancy you get with the frame, it can be quite expensive, but the results will be well worth it. Hopefully, one of these suggestions will save your old tech from being dumped just yet. While old tech may not be as useful as the brand new devices, it's always nice to save some money and save the environment by repurposing something and keeping it out of the landfill for an extended time. My thanks to Eric Schoen for his excellent article on Review Geek. To read the whole article, just follow the link listed. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon.